crazy, yo. It's the middle of the night, and we literally all saw an explosion, and then everyone in the neighborhood saw the same fucking UFO, bro. And now the fire department's here trying to figure out what the hell's going on, but nobody believes us. Like, we kept telling them, like, there's a fucking UFO that, like, came down. I heard a scream. I ran outside. I saw the explosion. My neighbor saw it. And apparently, it was pulling somebody out of this house over here. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, I'll let y'all know, like, what happens, but this is crazy. Like, we literally saw a UFO, all of us. If you didn't believe in aliens before, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man.
They not make the black clones until the early 80s. See, they could make white clones since the 1940s with Hitler. They was not able to produce a black clone and produce the dark skin and all that without it mutating into the European until the 1980s after the Atlanta child murders, and based on the information that, but also now they was also getting this information from the actual aliens. But it was the Atlanta child murders. After the Atlanta child murders, they was able to produce, based on the interferon and all, they was able to produce the black clones. But not only do they do the clones as far as laboratories, but not only that too, there's another form of cloning that we need to address, and that is, in actuality, that the actual Pleiadians can literally come in and take over your body and wear it like a spacesuit. So you got some clones that's the regular DNA gene splicing based on your Hoken Bridge Road out here, where they hooked it up to a machine and make another duplicate of you that you saw in Judge Dredd. But the other clones is walk-ins, where they literally just come in and walk into your body. So now some people with some people with any degree of knowledge and all, they can literally walk into your body. The good part about it is you do not, I thought that they just snatch your body and you died or whatever, but in actuality they cannot remove you from your body. They can just walk into your body and this other entity can possess you, whereas you will be a zombie, but you will be controlled by the other entity that's also inside of you. And one of the main ways that they actually are able to do it is also based on not drinking enough water and not eating enough fruits and a lot of diet things. Also, if you're eating these forms of meat, as far as all the meat, like especially like chicken and beef and all those type things, that's not meat anymore. That's literally clone meat. Because anytime they kill 9,000 chickens a damn minute, they don't have 9,000 chickens on the planet to kill a minute. That's because what you're dealing with here is laboratory meat. So based on that and all, they're able to go in, and these people can stay in your body based on your body being unclean. You see, what happens is when you eat a lot of greens and eat a lot of vegetarian stuff, what happens is, and drink a lot of water, your aura becomes strong, and your aura is not only there just a light, it is also a protected barrier that protects and radiates. So if your aura is strong, they can't penetrate. Now that is why it is key to somehow raise your vibratory rate, as if what I was saying, from the lower chakras. Well, this would be a high chakra, because that's it, because that would be the wrong thing. But like I said before, to raise your chakras to a great degree up to at least the heart chakra. Because see, what it means is this: below the heart chakra, you're not really living, you're just dead. You understand what I'm saying? You're just energy walking around with programmed rote learning that's programmed when you was a child. And basically the children are spiritual. You know, they're walking around and acting, they're spiritual, and then all of a sudden you program in them to be zombies. You see?
Black woman in Chicago steps over big shoes and silences the mayor. Let's get right to the video.
Everybody knows about a movie, Scarface, right? It's a classic, Al Pacino, right? Everybody knows about that movie. And we focus on the famous lines of that movie. You know, the acting and the hello to my little friend and all that. But it's the beginning of that movie that matters. When those words are coming up on that screen, that's what matters. And those words say, in May 1980, Fidel Castro opened a harbor at Merrill, Cuba, with the apparent intention of letting some of his people join their relatives in the United States. Within 72 hours, 3,000 U.S. boats were headed for Cuba. It soon became evident that Castro was forcing the boat owners to carry back with them not only their relatives, but the dregs of his jails. Of that 125,000 refugees that landed in Florida, an estimated 25,000 had criminal records. That's what's up.
Talk to him.
That's what is happening in the United States
right
now. All this asylum-seeking lie, all this about refugees, no. What's happening is they're emptying out the dregs of their jails into the United States, into our communities. They're junking up our country.
Talk to him, coach.
And yeah, we feel some kind of way about it because it's our country. It's our country. People like Vasquez and them, look how disrespectful they are. Now, you just gave that man a resolution for his father's restaurant. Every time we get up and talk, he's working this room. Look at him. Look at him. But he wants his resolution for his father to be respected. Vasquez, Lopez, all them want their people to be respected, but they can't even give us the dignity.
Talk to him, sis.
For what we built, but them. Ain't no question about it. Yeah, Black History Month. The American descendants of slavery. And I want you to know, Brandon Johnson, I understand what Breakmore's saying about we still on the plantation, but what you're looking at right now, this is what free Negro look like. And I'm telling you, we're going to get our city back, we're going to stand for our people, we're going to get them out of our communities, because they don't deserve to be there. Anytime they can't give us 3 lousy minutes of their attention while we sit here and watch y'all give them all kind of money, you watch us. We black out here. All right. We're going to handle our business. You watch that. Free black woman. All right. We get that.
Wait, we'll stop it right there. She said a mouthful, man. And you're going to see a lot more black people step away from the Democratic Party. They're finally waking up because people have to be affected by something before they finally wake up and smell the coffee. Anyway, I'm done talking about it. Y'all drop a comment. Let's talk about it. Get at your boy.
Well, hello. It's Vegas Paulie C. And where am I? I'm in the middle of Death Valley Lake. And I walked out here. It took me 27 minutes. You can see a little mahi over there by the shore. It took me 27 minutes to walk to the middle of Death Valley Lake. I wanted to make sure that everybody got a view of this. So let's just enjoy it. It's absolutely beautiful out here, and the walk is relatively easy. I am in coveralls that are waterproof. I think they call them waders, but I don't know that much about the outdoors. But look at that. Snow-capped mountain. The water is just past my knee, no big deal. We're gonna go around twice here so that you can see what it looks like from the middle of the newly formed and rarely formed Death Valley Lake. And I tasted the water. I have another video on that. It's extremely salty. I'm going to go around one more time so that you can see it. And I think I'm right in the middle. I could be wrong. It may be further to the other side. I'm not sure. But wow, this is just spectacular. And back to the snow-capped mountain. Vegas Paulie C.
Why the Anunnaki were obsessed with monoatomic gold.
Listen to this guy's story and tell me this white powder isn't some sort of interdimensional consciousness juice.
Monoatomic gold goes into a different dimension. When we find this monoatomic substance, we can manipulate it with the energy in our own bodies. Between 700 and 800 degrees Celsius, this pile of white fluffy powder vanished from sight. They thought that it just disappeared from sight, so they wiped the pan clear. A cleaned it, thinking that maybe they just disrupt it or disturb it. When they started bringing the temperature down, the pile of fluffy powder re-emerged where it disappeared from. What this tells us that between 700 and 800 degrees Celsius, monoatomic gold goes into a different dimension, and this is critical information.
Check this out, guys. This is Beetlejuice. Just way out of focus. Still looks cool though. Look at that. This is through my biggest telescope, my Dobsonian, a 12-inch Dobsonian. It's a Sync Scan Skywatcher, 300p. It's got a massive 12-inch aperture. That is gorgeous. A little out of collimation too. I'm gonna have to work on that another time.
This is because, oh wow, see those ripples? Oh man, that's pretty wild. Daggone. Those look like full-on waves. Huh. That is cool.
Now, the crystal children are older than the indigos, but the crystal children are, the reason why they're called crystals is because they're full of light. Okay, they're full of high vibratory energy, right? And they're the type of person that when they walk in a room, they light up the room. They can inspire people, right? They're extremely intelligent, right? They're extremely intelligent. And they're into spirituality at a very young age, right? So the crystal children came like 1990. They were born all the way up to like 2000. They came on the planet. Sometimes 2001, depending on what time they were born. And these are the crystal children. And the crystal children, their main mission is not the same as the indigo. The indigo is to like be rebels and kind of change the system. Well, as the system gets changed by the indigos, right? What's going to happen is the crystal children, as the system gets changed by the indigo children, the crystal children will push spirituality, right? The crystal children who are in their 20s right now, some of them are in their late, some are in their early 30s. These crystal children are really, really going to be pushing spirituality. They're very into crystals and spirituality and meditation, and they're all about, they're humanitarians also, right? So these crystal children are very sensitive to energy. They're very intelligent, and they're going to be some of the new spiritual teachers that's going to be coming on the rise. The spirit's already dealing with some of these kids right now. And I call them kids because I'm 40 years old, right? Some of these guys are 20s and 30s, right? Early 30s. So that's how you know you're a crystal. You come down here, right? You are full of light. You're that person that you can inspire people with your words. You can inspire people with your actions. You can inspire a whole community, right? Something about you inspires people. You're full of light, right? You're full of this high vibratory light. And it's hard to keep you down. It's hard to make you surrender. You're going to live life to its best. You're going to find a reason to be happy, right? Even though sometimes crystals do deal with depression, right? But eventually it's hard to keep you guys down because you're so full of light and you're intelligent and you're extremely spiritual. So just to let you know, if you're born in that time frame and you're a crystal, then your job is to really push spirituality, because that's the time we're going into, the age of Aquarius. So your job is going to be one of those people that's going to shine the light, a Christ person, a crystal, which is also a Christ, right? The anointed person. That's what you guys are, right? And we're all sent with a mission. Your mission is to be anointed and to spread the message around the world. Spirituality, or whatever type of spirituality you're into. Some of you guys are healers also. That's your mission. That's your job, family. Okay?
This wench think I'm over here stressing about him. Meanwhile, I'm over here Googling why eggs don't taste like chicken.
And you talking about that? I'm trying to figure out why we can see the moon when it's daytime, but we can't see the sun when it's nighttime. Girl, I ain't even fit.
Many people are waking up and they're seeing shadow people. Pretty soon you'll be seeing shadow people as you go down the street. Don't become frightened. Simply means that your higher vibrations now are kicking in, and the spectrum outside of the 12 spectrum site we have, you begin to look out the corner of your eye, because that's when you go into a different spectrum. That's why you always see them out the corner of your eye, especially when you wake up in the morning, because you're coming back into your body, by the way. You die every night, by the way. So don't worry about it. You're going to die tonight and look forward to it. You will, and you will. And that's where it's supposed to be. That's why when you ascend in harmony, you just wake up one day and it's all cool. But we've got to fear that because we don't know we die every night and look forward to it. And you cross to those spectrums where they exist every night. That's what they call fourth dimension. And that's when you see the old hag. Some people wake up and they got those hags sitting on their chest. They can't breathe. I felt like a wizard. That's because the pressure of your soul body coming back in was not quite seated. Let me explain the witch's ride right quickly, the old hag right quickly, and the extra dimension that you go through right quickly. You're like on the bottom of a pyramid, only the pyramid has been built on top of you. So when you lie in your bed at night, there's a pyramid that's been built on top of you. And the pyramid has 7 dimensions. The top dimension actually goes into an area that you might call air. The base of it is in what you might call an ocean of matter. And you're beneath all of it. So when your id or spirit, or what they call the ka, comes out of it, it goes through that first dimension into all the shrimp and the crustacea and the crab and everything that are on the bottom of that ocean. You got to go through that. But then as you float up, you become lighter until finally you become like, what do they call it, sea anemones and flying fish. If you're a flying fish, it's really good because you can leap out of the water into the air. Well, you can not only can do that, but if you can really get through all of it, you can leap out of all the corpuscular energy, or what they call matter, into the air. And then you're in what they call now astral flight. And you're flying all over the place. But when you come back in again, you come down from the flight up there, all the way back in, down to the bottom of there, and just before you cross over into what your body has now become, you wake up. And you wake up before you're completely reconnected. And in not being reconnected, you wake up too soon, so you're not back in your body, you're in free space, and you can't scream and you can't move, and you say, but nothing's coming out, and you go completely panicking. And the old hag said, we got us one now. And the other one said, we got us one now. And you're screaming, and then finally you wake up and you said, I had a nightmare. My God. Well, sometimes you can have daymares. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you might not even get a mare. You might get a stallion, you know. How about sex classes? So there you are. All you did is you woke up too soon, because every time you go out of your body, you travel. It's just that when you get good at it and transfer your memory, you are aware of where you're traveling.
You know, America's founding fathers were black guys? Yeah, neither did I. But thanks to Google's new AI program, they've set the record straight. Thanks, Google, for giving me a great history lesson. Apparently black guys signed the Declaration of Independence. They also wrote the Constitution. Thank God for Google, because their new AI program called Google Gemini, replaced Google Bard. It's now a place where you can create AI images of anything you like. I think, like, David, you used to be able to go over, what's that website you used to use for image creation? What the hell was it called?
I used Midjourney and Leonardo.
Yeah. So forget that now. You can use Google's AI and their Gemini program to do all of that, all in one roof. That's what Google's great at, is creating these great images. So it's a place where you can create these images on anything you like. Like, hey, Google, show me pictures of America's founding fathers. And Google, here you go. Here's your search results. There you go. Those are America's founding fathers. There, by the way, were no black guys as founding fathers in the United States. Black people at the time in the United States, before they were even in the United States, were slaves. So they were not there writing the Declaration of Independence. FYI. Google.
Maybe one of them brought that slave.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's just yeah, I guess it may be according to we need to be inclusive, so we're just going to put some black guys in that room at the time. Google will paint some black guys in there for you, regardless of what search you're looking for. They'll just stick a black guy in there for you to make it more inclusive. A former Google employee just tweeted this overnight, saying that it's, quote, embarrassingly hard to get Google Gemini to acknowledge that white people exist. He's no longer working there. For obvious reasons, and that seems to be what's going on here, an AI program that is intentionally written to exclude white people. Now, you might say, no, that's a conspiracy, or you're just being harsh. Here, I'm sure it was a mistake. We'll get to that in a second. Here are a few other examples, though. So show me pictures of Nazis. Show me pictures of Nazis, Google. Here's what you'll get from Google. And this is 1943 Germany. How many, I mean, I don't know if you know anything about history, but do these look like Nazis to you?
Well, to be fair, Italy was aligned with Nazis, and the woman on the
Hotep, what it do, Hebrew? This the morning of the third day. So, you know, I don't do TikToks that much, but I know what this shit for. Anyway, I discovered something today, and I want to spread this information. It's really thanks to Earth, though. The guy that always say, don't make me come back up here. So, I've been noticing on social media how people been eating raw meat. Mostly, you know. So, I watched about 4 or 5 of them. And I was like, why is these people doing this? This is not a trend or something, because everybody know what eating meat does, period, even when it cooked. So why is they doing that, right? So I'm like, kept going through the videos. I discovered a video with a dude eating hamburger meat raw, but his eyes was black. Didn't nobody mention nothing about his eyes in the comments. So then I started paying attention to the other people's videos that claim they've been seeing people with black eyes. And one woman said she went to the grocery store and she was buying some bread. She said it was a guy at the other end of the other end, and he was just standing there. So she just kept looking for her bread. So she looked up at him. He had black eyes. And he looked like he wanted to eat her or something. And she got up out of there. Anyway, then it's another story. Just recently happened. White guy said he was walking. He said he felt somebody walking behind him. Turned around. Guy with black eyes coming straight for him. So he ran all the way to the house. So by the time he made it to his garage or wherever he made it to, he turned around and the guy was standing at the corner. So that means he chased him all the way home. All right. So, back to Earth. Earth, you know, he go over to South America and look at those temples, and he learned the stories of the Mayan temples and all that. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I know he studied all that stuff, the Mayans and all that. And it's this word that he learned that's really not a word, but I just gave it a shot because I seen his video. The word is supposed to reveal reptilians because they are walking amongst us. They are walking amongst us, and there's a way we can make them reveal themselves. and it's a word. But you gotta actually ask this person to say the word. And the word is Kenaninikin. And if they can't say the word, they're gonna growl. And not only they're gonna growl, I wanna say their facial expression is gonna change. Because I recently just did that. And the guy always looked at like, when he looked at me at work, he always looked at me like he could chop me up and put me in a pot or something or kill some people, like he want to eat some folks. He always said some crazy stuff. You know, so he talked crazy to everybody. So I said, I'm gonna try him. I said, I'm gonna get him to say the word Kenaninikin. Guess what happened? He didn't even want to participate. He just walked away. But we cool though. But that makes sense. And I feel like the guy I work with, he's a reptilian. And then something about, you know, you can see in people's eyes they soul, man. You can see it in the eyes. You can look at a person, the time and age we in now, everybody got clairvoyance, even if they don't want to admit it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't want to admit it. Some people just don't go with their gut feeling because they doing other things besides thinking about what the energy trying to direct them to. They ain't thinking about the energy. They just chasing the money. That's it. But don't want to get off subject. I want people to go out and just pick random people and get them to say the word Kenaninikin and see when the eyes turn black, because I believe that's breaking the spell. Think about it. The reason why a reptilian probably can't say the word Kenaninikin is because a reptile tongue is always moving. Say Kenaninikin right now and tell me how many times your tongue moved from the roof in your mouth, like Kenaninikin. I don't think they would be able to say that because their tongue is, you feel me? And that probably make them, I don't know. All I know on Earth video, he got the guy to do it and he started growling. And that was supposed to happen if they can't say the word Kenaninikin. So, hey, I'm not gonna say this for educational purposes, because I know what this for.
If you're a Kanye West fan, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself. You will believe in yourself.
If everything I did failed, just the fact that I'm willing to fail is an inspiration. People are so scared to lose that they don't even try.
I always felt like I could do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by, their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything.
Galileo, they want to chop his head off for saying that the sun revolved around the earth.
But the sun,
I'm not concerned about the specifics, sir.
Everyone in this room is inspired by you. Who are you inspired by?
Well, Kanye West, obviously.
It's the Game of Thrones, Yeezy not the clones. Elon, where my rocket ship? It's time to go home.
Mental savant in order to understand what's taking place. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to be tricked by the technology that's going to be amplified by the oligarchs. Because spirituality is all about being tricked. Spirituality has nothing to do with just because you wear damn crystals and hair wraps and you pray and you meditate. That has nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is based on the fact that you're able to decipher and decode what's taking place that's going to be amplified by the oligarchs, right? So like I said, that's what's taking place. So with that being said, it's not a coincidence that the Antichrist symbol, like I showed you in the last video, is connected to the anarchy symbol, because anarchy is going to be activated when you activate civil unrest, when you have martial law activated, the grid going down, you have a dollar collapse, you have many different catastrophic events, geomagnetic weather modification, frequency modification. All these things are going to be taking place, which will create anarchy, civil war, food shortage. That creates anarchy, right? So there's not a coincidence that the anarchy symbol and the Antichrist symbol is sitting right over the geographical landmass of America, right? And when you go to the Hebrew Gematria code of anarchy, 824, which is connected to 8/24, 8/2024, April 8th, 2024, the solar eclipse, right? So all this stuff is esoterically connected because it's prophetic divination, right? Everything must happen in divine order, right? So that's what makes you chosen, being able to decipher the bullshit that's going to be implemented by these oligarchs, right? When you're talking about the deep state shadow government. So let's get into some videos to give you some clarity about everything that's taking place, to give you a little bit of clarity. So the anarchy, what's going to be taking place? You got to understand what's going on when you're talking about anarchy. Because like I said, the whole symbology of the Trojan horse conspiracy is the white horse of Revelations chapter 6. You're going to be infiltrated from the inside. That is going to be amplified from the deep state shadow government. I'm going to play the video.
A full-time, 24-hour-a-day cyber security, not part-time. Every department has their own. We don't communicate with anybody. If we're going to be attacked, which we're getting every day, I assume everybody is. I'm asking that these two state reps introduce legislation, that we have one cybersecurity czar that's full-time, nonstop, 24 hours a day. They're attacking us all. Third, very important, I'm asking that legislation be introduced like in Texas, that if you're pulled over or stopped in the state of Ohio, that there be legislation, the law changed, that you can be charged with a state felony charge of being here illegally, and you can be arrested and charged. Those three things. Now, I come to you not to alarm you, but to arm you. I want you to know what's going on. None of this I've made up.
Not to alarm you, but to arm
And the
you.
reason it's being told to us, because 9/11, they knew it was coming. And none of us knew. No communications with us.
I need you to understand something. So he's basically alluding to the fact that something is going to be taking place that's equivalent to 9/11. And this next event is going to be bigger than 9/11. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be to where you have these sleeper cells that are going to be activated. These sleeper cells, due to the expansion of all the borders, this is when you have all these United Nations military factions coming in, these militarized groups to overthrow America, which is going to create a form of chaos and order in a form of anarchy, right? So it's not a coincidence that the great majority of these sheriffs, and they coming out speaking, they talking about the American people have to basically arm themselves in order to combat the affliction that's going to be taking place on American soil. I'm going to keep playing the video.
Unfortunately, we can't do anything with drones. We have drones, but we're going to. And we're going to do everything we can to protect our community, to keep our life squads, our fire, our dispatching. If you've ever lost your phone or your battery goes dead, everybody freaks out. Imagine if you can't use yourself. Now, again, they're getting into our cyber, and that's what our country. You can't pump gas without electricity. You can't pump water without electricity. So, they're doing this to us. These are the three things.
You can't pump electricity and water without electricity. Like, nigga, it's 2024. Y'all need to upgrade y'all system to where we should be able to pump this shit without electricity, without it being a cyber attack and it being able to be disrupted. Like, fucking old ass system is weak as fuck.
Any questions you got? Yes, sir.
Good morning, Sheriff General.
Yes, sir.
Presidents today. If given the opportunity to talk to the president through your organization.
They're saying you should be packing heat.
Fox 35's Brian Scott is here now with more on this bold suggestion.
Yeah, 3 sheriffs in the area are now standing together on this one, saying terrorist, active shooter, whatever the situation, they want citizens ready to step up.
If you're not afraid of a gun, get one.
The message from Polk County's top cop, crystal clear.
Become proficient. Get a concealed firearms license and carry it. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Sheriff,
not shoot them a lot.
This is where you have to use your mental and your spiritual fortitude and discernment. Like, why are they saying that? Right? Because by way of chaos magic meaning that they have to give you the truth. They got to tell you these things, right? Because subconsciously we give them consent when they come on on media and when they put it out in the public domain. So it's not a coincidence that all this stuff is going to be taking place. And in my opinion, I think it's going to start around March 25th, right? So I'm going to keep playing this video because, like I said, all this stuff is important. You got to pay attention all around you. Like I said, spirituality is about not being tricked. That's what it's about. So pay attention to your surroundings when you're at work, grocery shopping, or whatever, because, like I said, you're going to be infiltrated from the inside.
Period. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Sheriff Grady Judd's going public today with response to attacks around the world and here at home, telling citizens they need to step up.
The armed assailant does a plan.
And then y'all arrest them, and then we fucking take names later. Like, you tell me to shoot somebody.
And you're just the saved up.
It's not going to be a good situation, bro.
And if not a gun, something to defend yourself and those around you. A bold stance.
We prepared to serve as the first line of defense.
Very similar to the one Brevard
Even at work,
Green Ivy went
like,
viral with 2 weeks ago. That video now up to nearly 500,000 views. No matter who you are,
I'll be better off wearing a bulletproof vest at work, because, man, listen, you tell, man, listen.
Well-prepared citizen or law enforcement officer.
And tonight, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is also stepping up. He tells me he backs Judd and Ivy on this one completely, adding, there's not enough police in America to stop all of these threats. Just one citizen.
Niggas is about to start going crazy.
This is clearly popular with law enforcement. On social media, though, the reaction's a bit more mixed. Some praising the message, others saying it's not helping, even some saying it creates panic.
If y'all working with the public health,
Fox 35 News.
the homeless, the mental health, the disabled, they gotta get a bulletproof vest and be prepared, because shit about to go.
So it's imperative. That's the homework for everybody.
The mental first was about to be going crazy.
Watch the older version and watch the newer version.
I mean, not
it's
crazy.
Basically showing you. I think in one of the movies, it's showing
them is the ones that you're gonna be having to defend yourself against.
Infiltrate on American soil that was brought in by the deep state shadow government. And then you have one that was where China infiltrated American soil that was brought in by the deep state shadow government. So there's going to be an invasion process going to be taking place. That's going to be the big event. That's why you got all the leader cells. They all over the planet. All they got to do is get that phone call. And you working with one of them, and you know what I'm saying, one of them disappear and they come out and they just, you know, start picking people off. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to be the next big event. Right? And that's what's going to be the precursor to your so-called civil war, because people are not going to understand the dichotomy between those who are working with the government and those who are who basically created their own militarized groups that goes against the government. So it's going to be hard to pick sides, right? So let me see something here. So like I said, all that stuff is going to be connected to anarchy. Right? All this stuff is connected to anarchy. And like I said, in my opinion, it tells you that, you know, this Luciferian system, this Babylonian beast system, right? This draconian system has a short time period, according to Revelation 12:12. So around the time of March 25th, that's when they're going to amplify all these orchestrated events, as I was talking about in the beginning of the video, right? So one thing you got to understand is that the great majority of all these false flag events, the great majority, when you're talking about the Federal Reserve System have a problem with the economic system, when you're talking about the activation of the draconian juice that they did back in 2020, all this stuff happened in March. So this is the precursor to part 2 that's going to be taking place, right? Whether you're talking about it tells you the draconian system has a short time period, according to Revelation 12:12. So around the time of March 25th, that's when they're going to amplify all these orchestrated events, as I was talking about in the beginning of the video, right? So one thing you got to understand is that the great majority of all these false flag events, the great majority, when you're talking about the Federal Reserve System have a problem with the economic system, when you're talking about the activation of the draconian juice that they did back in 2020, all this stuff happened in March. So this is the precursor to part 2 that's going to be taking place, right? Whether you're talking about currency revaluation or an economic crash or an invasion, all this stuff has to take place, but the great majority of it starts in the month of March. So be very meticulous of your surroundings as we go into the month of March in the next few weeks or so, right? Hold on. As a matter of fact, let me get this book for a second real quick. I'm going to get this book. Now, you got to get this book right here. I read this book like 4 times, like 4 years ago, something like that. I got this book like 5 years ago. It's called The Deep State, Donald Trump, the FBI, and the Rule of Law, right? You got to get this book. I bought this book like 5 years ago. I did some very extensive research in order to understand the whole mechanisms of the deep state shadow government and what they do. So the deep state is basically comprised of the Federal Reserve System, the IMF, the World Bank, the intelligence contractors, defense contractors, the MIC, MICC, the MIC lobbyists, the Council on Foreign Relations when you talk about the trilateral group. Then you have the Wall Street offshore accounts, and then you have the Treasury. Because I told you the Federal Reserve got bought out by the Treasury, right? Now this is when they're trying to implement BRICS, where you have the United Nations. So all this stuff is basically the whole foundation of the deep state shadow government. Now, what is the deep state connected to? Now, the exoteric, the commercialized version of the deep state shadow government is democracy. Now, what is democracy? They now have discovered that democracy, or democracy, short for the word crossy, democracy, when you look at the suffix of the word crossy, it means Kratos, which is the god of Saturn. So this system is comprised of the fallen ones because Saturn is a fallen planet. But that's why the great majority of people who run this country, right?
Did you see a neurologist to find out if I'm crazy? Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams. And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
This industry is a monster.
At a time like this, if I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out and it would be Michael Jackson and Prince all over again.
They're trying to kill me. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They're trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah, like I'm sitting around, I was stressed out, but the people that would tell me I was insane, I believe that they knew what was going on.
Anybody could look at her and tell this is not just alcohol. There's something more going on.
Wendy Williams is in trouble, and if she doesn't get the necessary help now, the elites will definitely succeed in getting rid of her. Hollywood is a place where fame and fortune often go hand in hand, but it's also a place where bizarre illnesses strike some of the most well-known personalities. The weird part is that most of the victims are some of the strongest beings you will ever come across on the face of Earth. If that's the case, then why do they suddenly get sick with illnesses that no one seems to know about? The answer is known only to the elites, who seem to be in control of who lives and who dies. Wendy Williams is one of the most fearless TV presenters who tackled some difficult issues. She didn't care who she was facing. When it came to doing her job, no one stood in between.
I know I pissed a lot of people off, including you. But this is a full circle moment, everybody. Get into adult conversation. It's full circle.
But just like the elites tried to silence Dave Chappelle, Kanye West, and many others, this seems to be what is happening to the iconic TV presenter. I mean, how can someone change from this to this in a blink of an eye? What's really happening to Wendy Williams? Right about now, she's complaining about a lot of things. People have stolen all her money. She's bankrupt. And now people are calling her crazy. But this isn't a new situation in Hollywood. Kanye West explained this very well when it happened to him. Listen to this.
I'm saying is, look, they tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And they when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean,
they would have Michael Jackson
or worse.
Fortunately, Kanye West outsmarted them, but I know their plan was to continue putting him on the wrong medication, then drain him financially so that he couldn't afford proper medication and eventually die. When this plan failed, they labeled him crazy so that people should stop paying attention to him.
Any of you guys been noticing something weird with the moon? I just watched the moon be up all night, y'all. All night. It was in the sky the whole night. And the moon looked like it was about to go down, like set, right? And literally, I went to the store because the moon was about to set. And when I came back out the store, the moon went into a new place. Like it went higher. And now it looks like these clouds are trying to hide the moon. But literally it was going to set, y'all. It was literally getting ready to set. And now it's like up in the sky. It's literally up in the sky. It's not even at the horizon. Look, it's up in the sky. It's in the daytime. I mean, the moon has been acting weird for a couple of years now, but now this is like, it's evident. It's evident, literally. The sun is about to be out. The sun is about to be out. You can see over here. There's the sunrise. Sun is rising. The sun is about to rise over there. And then here we go over. Look, now the clouds just literally blocked the moon. The clouds just took the moon. See, I told y'all, man, it's just crazy. It's weird out here, y'all. And it's about to get weirder.
Is anybody else waiting for the economy to crash at this point? Because this shit seems so surreal. It seems like a fucking dream. Ever since the pandemic, shit just does not seem real anymore. Like, I feel like life is fake. Everything is maxed out at this point. Hell, I can't even say that because they'll find a way to raise the price of living again. Shit, if I knew life was going to be like this, I would have started saving money in kindergarten. We can't go out and protest shit because, hell, if you take one day off of work, you're behind the next 3 months. And everybody's afraid to boycott. We're making everybody rich except for ourselves. I know people that don't do shit for a living, but they got twice as much as me. And I'm not trying to count nobody's pockets. I'm working hard for no fucking reason. There's no reward. I couldn't fathom having a wife and kids and a house right now. I had somebody tell me that they was making $30 an hour and they can't even really provide for their family. What? And no wonder us millennials have psychological problems. We're working our ass off to get nowhere. Shit, people act like we're trying to take over the fucking world or something. We just want a house, a nice car, and a refrigerator full of food. That's it. And some money to go out here and there and take a trip once or twice a year. Hell, the government acts like we want a kidney or something. It just seems like every time I get a step ahead, I get knocked down 5 steps back. The pandemic wasn't even about a damn flu. This shit is about control. Y'all notice the government does shit in plain sight in front of us now and they don't give a damn? They're like, try us. My mental health is slipping every day. It's depriving. But fuck, you can't even take off work to heal. You don't even get time to chill anymore. Hell, that costs money. At this point, you're either doing something illegal or you have to have a side job to make it at this point. And all I got to say about that is don't get caught.